We're talking about why local churches should not use Bethel, Hillsong, Elevation music in their worship services. And I know you and I would both probably go further than that and just encourage Christians to kind of chunk it all together, but especially on the Lord's Day when the saints gather together for our worship. We want to be reverent. We want to be scriptural. We want to do that which God prescribes in His Word as our ordinances of worship. And so that's the big thing that we're arguing in this particular episode of Theology Applied. Local churches should not use Bethel and Hillsong for their worship services on the Lord's Day. And so we kind of are outlining three reasons. And so the first reason that I know you and I both agree with, we've talked a little bit about this offline, and I know you've done a lot on this subject in the past, but we both agree that both Hillsong and Bethel are not churches. And so could you speak to that for a moment?
Sure, Joel. Yeah, they're not. They certainly have church in their name, but they are not churches by the biblical definition of a church, because both Bethel and Hillsong are cults, and a lot of people chafe when I say that, but I stand by it. They do not have a biblical leadership structure. They do not practice church discipline. The first command, actually, that Jesus gave to His church, Matthew chapter 18, They don't do that. And they are both committed to word of faith theology, word faith / New Apostolic Reformation, the very subject matter for which I'm most well known, that which I teach against all over the world. The belief that it is always God's will to be healed. It is always God's will to be wealthy. You can have physical healing and monetary prosperity as long as you have enough faith. They hold the word faith theology, little God's doctrine, positive confession, speak things into existence, all of these things. And an argument could certainly be made that Bethel, pastored by Bill Johnson, is certainly more heretical from a purely doctrinal standpoint. I mean, they are more heretical, but they're cut from the same basic cloth. In fact, when you look at Hillsong's conferences, you see a lot of cross-pollination between Hillsong, Brian Houston, and Bethel, Bill Johnson. They speak at each other's conferences. They're very friendly with each other. They're simpatico. They endorse one another. And so, so they're both cults.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in my observation, it seems like they both have the foundational doctrinal tenets, false doctrines. The real difference isn't doctrinal; it's more so like a philosophy of ministry. Hillsong is a little bit more of the seeker-sensitive, lighthearted. We don't want to scare you away, and then Bethel is a little bit more of the we'll talk about grave sucking, and we're going to scare a lot of sane people away. I imagine that Hillsong probably has more sane people among its membership that are just deceived, whereas Bethel attracts a lot of people, but it really kind of a type of person, the type of person who I'm sure there's many precious people there, but the type of person who's just more comfortable with in your face kind of mystical, things that a normal person would say that's pretty weird. So, but my point is that I think they both have a lot of the same doctrinal tenets, but there's a very noticeable difference in their philosophy of ministry. Yeah. So what are some of those doctrines? If you were to boil them down to maybe just a handful, what are some of the big, clear doctrinal heresies that Hillsong and or Bethel would hold to and have publicly preached?
Yeah, there would be a number of them. Both of them would be an anti-lordship salvation kind of message. They easy believism, pray the sinner's prayer. As long as you recite those words, you're in the club, kind of a thing. No emphasis at all on repentance or taking up the cross, denying yourself. And in fact, self-fulfillment and self-indulgence is kind of the hallmark of this movement. Come to Christ and Jesus will make you rich and Jesus will heal your body. They appeal to fallen human desires as the basis for their movement. Bethel would certainly, as I said a minute ago, doctrinally get more into full-blown heresy. Hillsong you can kind of think of as kind of like the Joel Osteen-ish
Right.
wing of this movement, kind of the happy clappy kind of stuff. Bethel is that as well, but they get more into the heretical things. Like one of the things that I have a video in my seminar that is just truly horrific. And it's a video that Bethel uses actually in their advertisement. It's not something that they're embarrassed by. They're actually proud of it, but it shows one of their staff members, a man named Seth Dahl, Dahl. And he claims in this video, I wish we had it, we could play it, but he claims in this video that he had a vision of Jesus. And in this vision, Jesus embraced him, held him, like hugged him tightly, and said to Seth, "Please forgive me. Please forgive me." I mean, think about that. The Son of God, the thrice holy Son of God, saying to a wretched, vile, sinful creature, "Please forgive me."
Yeah.
And I mean, that is so blasphemous. Sometimes I feel like blasphemy is not even a strong enough word. I kind of almost feel myself wanting something even stronger than that. But it is utter and sheer blasphemy. And and they're proud of this. I mean, this is something they have put out in their advertising. So, I mean, any quote unquote church that would have such a profoundly low view of Christ as to actually advertise to the world that Jesus is asking any of us for forgiveness.
Right.
Gobsmacking, just gobsmacking.
Thanks for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, we hope that you'll take a moment and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch more content like this. Also, take a moment and give this video a like so that it can reach more people. And take a moment and click on the bell so that you'll be notified whenever we come out with new content. Thanks so much. God bless.